How's it going, fam? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and today we are doing the full, long-awaited review of the WoodSteel Knives Mini Snake Eater designed by James Harris over at Junkyard Fox. Got the goats here today. I'm gonna cut up some apples for them, and we're just gonna talk about this knife, and I'm gonna do the review while we're making some food for them, because use your shit. Let me lower you guys down a little bit so that you can see the goats and what I'm doing. Bear with me here. There we go. Alright. Olive is saying she's very hungry. Okay. These are apples from our orchard. They're not the prettiest, but they're actually decent sized, and they really don't look all that bad for not being treated at all. Yeah, so let's cut these up. Okay, so I am using the, like I said, WoodSteel Knives Mini Snake Eater, and mine is very thin in 01 tool steel, and I've been testing this for a couple months now. The reason I didn't do the review after a month was because I haven't been using this all day every day, so I wanted to give myself a couple months of use before actually doing the review. That way it was fair, in my opinion. Oh, you guys are gonna want to see this, of course. Ooh, I'm hungry. Is this too big for you? Yeah, she's like, no, that is way too big. I gotta cut them up a little smaller for her, I think. Get you situated here. Yeah, so I've been using this for a few months. Mine is a mini version of James's design, and I made a few changes to mine, which I have mentioned in prior videos, but just to reiterate very quickly, I did not want the pommel. I did not want it in AEBL. I wanted it to be more field friendly in terms of servicing sharpening. I wanted it as thin as possible. But most notable, I did not want the combination grind. I wanted a full flat ground blade. So I did not want the Scandi into regular. I just wanted a full regular edge. So this is a little different than the original, but still the same design and just a smaller version. And I have to say, I've used many bushcraft camp cooking knives in my life. I have always been an avid outdoors woman, and this is easily one of the best knives. Well, actually, no. This is the best bushcraft knife, or not bushcraft, camp knife I have ever used in this, like, realm of smaller, thinner knives. Olive, come here. Come here. No, this is for Olive. Oh my god. What a pig. So the only thing I had to change about this was the edge. So it came with a convexed edge done on a belt, and I just felt that it wasn't performing how I wanted it to. It was performing very well, but for specific tasks that I wanted a little more bite, and I did not need that edge strength, I just felt that it would do better with like a normal flatter cutting edge. So I ended up putting my own edge on this, and I am very happy with how this is performing. It is, the edge retention is very good on this 01. The patina is beautiful, and the sharpening experience was phenomenal. It is exactly what I wanted. It was very easy. It did not take a lot of time. The edge burred up very, very well. It was just a matter of minutes to get it back to extremely sharp. Olive doesn't want any apples today, I guess. It was exactly what I wanted from a field knife, from a camp knife, because in my camp knives, what I want is something that will hold an edge for a good amount of time, because I'll be using it a lot. I also want it to be easily serviceable, and I want it to be forgiving. And what I mean by forgiving is I need it to be not chippy. I want the edge to roll if there's going to be any damage to it. I just need it to be kind of easygoing, right? You don't want to be fixing chips when you're out in the field, you know, field dressing a deer, and you don't want to be dealing with chips and severe damage when you're on a 3-day camping trip in Acadia National Park. You don't want to be sitting there working on your edge for a half hour because it chipped out on you. Does that make any sense? I want this to be easily serviceable with a ceramic rod on the go, on a camping trip, on a hunting trip, on a fishing trip. That's what I look for in my camp knives. Not very concerned about batoning. With this particular one, I actually did baton a lot of kindling with it. It did fantastic, but that wasn't something that was like a complete necessity for me, just because this build wasn't necessarily made for that. So this is like, I can't emphasize how thin this stock is. Very thin. This is much more of a food prep knife for camping. And that is what this does very, very well. This is kind of reminiscent of an old school, like, what are they called? Old hickory or Green Bay knives or something like that. I can't recall, but basically it's a very like old school kind of Skinner type knife that is really good for camp cooking and food processing and field dressing game. I have skinned and processed a wild hare with this knife. That video is, I believe, on my Use Your Shit playlist, so it does process game very well. That, when I had done that, that was with the convexed edge before I had put my own edge on it, and you could tell that there were certain aspects of that game skinning that were a little tricky. It had a hard time like penetrating through the nape of the neck on the rabbit to start removing the hide. So after that video, because everything else had gone so well, but after that video I did put my own edge on it, and I didn't want that convexed edge any longer. And ever since then, ever since I've put my own like flatter edge on it, it has been performing even better, and it was already very good. So if you're looking for edge stability and strength, keep the convex on there and continue to go with that. And if you're looking for a little bit more performance and you're not as worried about strength, then just put your own edge on it. And realistically speaking, because this is 01 tool steel, I don't need to worry about edge strength. I really don't. This is a very tough steel. I've had great experiences with 01, and I feel that the convex is not something that I need because of the steel choice. I'm going to leave these apples here because they can eat them later. Obviously this will rust, this will patina. I do not oil it, I just let it do its thing. I've never had an issue. I store it in the sheath, totally fine. The sheath is from JRE Industries. It comes with the knife if you ask for it. A beautiful sheath with the dangler. Same ones that LT Wright uses. 90-degree spine on this that is extremely, extremely sharp. I have used a fire steel with it. It is like fireworks going off. It is fantastic. I love the Fox holding the knife stamp on there. That's from James. I love the woodpecker from WoodSteel Knives. That is his icon. Everything about this is fantastic. I felt that the price point was actually underpriced. It depends on what like configuration you get for pricing, so I'm not going to name a price right now because it depends on like the materials and the size, and if you do get a sheath or not, all that good stuff. That will affect the price. But guys, this is literally like the best camp knife that I have, and I feel it is extremely versatile. Sorry, I'm walking back to the house. It is extremely versatile because of how thin it is. You do not have to get it as thin as I do. There's a whole bunch of options when you are building your snake eater. You can, decide how thin you want it. If you want the combination edge or not. There's just a lot of options. You get to choose your handle scales, your liners, your pins, whether you would like a pommel or not. I think the only choices for steel are AEBL and O1 tool steel. Last I knew. Put you guys down here so I can kind of finish this out. Oh, you're sideways. Man, my videos suck. I don't understand why anyone watches this shit. I really don't. Hi. Still have bedhead. Yeah, so, it is extremely ergonomic. This handle is the most comfortable I've ever used on a fixed blade. I should say this style, because I have a few like this, and anything with kind of that, like, broomstick handle, it's just the most comfortable. And this is I would say a modified broomstick handle. It really has no ergonomics, but it is like a little fatter right here. It kind of swells out. There is a knife very similar to this that LT Wright makes. I think it's called the Lagom, 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 something like that. This is very much the same style. I did opt for white liners with green unfinished micarta. This is just an ultimate slicer, an ultimate whittler, an ultimate game processor. Definitely thin enough to do fish. One of the biggest things I look for in a knife that I would process fish with possibly is flexibility. I just feel that if you're going to process them, you want a little bit of wiggle room for working around the bones on occasion, and this is definitely flexy. So I like that. I can't recommend this one enough, guys. And Woody is a great guy. Kind of new to the game, I would say. I don't think everyone knows who he is. I'm kind of obsessed with his work. I think he's slept on, and I love the knives that he makes. He makes a whole bunch of models aside from the Snake Eater and Mini Snake Eater. The only thing I've noticed about him is that his content on Instagram is like a little spotty, and on YouTube also a little spotty, and at least for me, the allotted time that was given to me to finish this knife ended up being a decent amount of time longer than expected. It didn't really bother me, but I just wanted to note that because he's a one-man band, he is making these like in his workshop, in his garage, and I know that some people get really wound up about not getting things when they were told they were getting them, and some people instantly go into panic mode and think that they got scammed. So I just wanted to put that out there that he is doing this all on his own. These are all handmade by him, treated, cryo-treated in his garage. And it just may take a little longer than the time given on the website or whatever. I have had people message me before about knives, scales, all that stuff, and they're like, I was told that these would be done in a month and a half, and it's been a month in 3 weeks, I got scammed. And I'm like, well, no. Sometimes people just take a little longer than expected to make things, and I think you should reach out and ask them. And if they don't respond within 22 minutes, just calm down. Like, especially when it's the weekend, some people don't live on their email. So just know that the communication it can sometimes take a couple days with these small makers like that, but don't go into panic mode thinking that you got scammed. I mean, James Harris is one of the biggest YouTubers and one of the biggest content creators and the best bushcraft channel in existence on YouTube. He's had many snake eaters, and he's the one that works with Woody on these. I highly doubt that he would be making content on his own knives and working with Woody Smith if it was a big giant scam. I have worked with Woody Smith. This knife is real life, and I can promise you, sometimes it just takes people a little longer to respond and to make things. That's all, okay? So, I highly suggest that if you are into camping, hunting, fishing, the camp cooking stuff, whittling, feather sticks, making s'mores out by the campfire, I highly suggest you check out this knife, the Snake Eater or Mini Snake Eater by James Harris and Woody Smith over at WoodSteel Knives. You can find them on Instagram. 10 out of 10 for this knife, guys. I highly recommend it. I'm going to continue using it, continue testing it, but I felt that multiple months of use was a decent amount of time to give a review on whether or not I think this is a valid purchase for you, and I fully think that it is. So, check out WoodSteel Knives. Go use your shit. Put a patina on your knife. Don't be afraid of a little patina. I will see you guys on the next video. Go use your shit. Love you all.